Hey class, this is about rounding with significant figures. So this is 1.6 or less than 6. Take a look at the paragraph that's above the problems 1 through 8, where it says, and this is really the important part here. Let me see if I can get my highlighter on. Excellent. It says, when adding and subtracting measurements, round your answer to the lowest number of decimal places given. So let me show you what this looks like with examples here so you can see how to line them up. I'm going to give myself a little bit more room on the bottom. There we go. So take a look at number 1. Number 1 says, if we line this up vertically like you used to do in middle school and elementary school, I got 10.2 plus and then 21 like this. Notice that here at the ones place for the 21, that is the least accurate measurement because it doesn't have anything else on the right hand side. So what I'm going to do is add these two together, and when I add them together it's pretty simple. I get a 31.2 just like that, and I'm going to round off to the ones place because that's where this is the least accurate. That's what that means when it says the least accurate or the lower place of decimal. So the ones place here is where I round to. That means I'm checking here at the 2 to see if it's 5 or higher, and since it's not, my answer then would be 31 for number 2. Okay, so 31 for number 2. 31 for number 1 because I'm rounding off to the ones place because the 21 ends at the ones place. Let's take another look at another example here. We'll do a couple examples so that you can get to see what's going on. So this screencast will be broken up into a couple different parts here. So let's take a look at number 2. So number 2 says we have 31.3 and 54.45. Which one of these two is going to limit where we're going to round off at? If I add them all up, then I'll take a look at where I'm supposed to round at. So I get 85 here, and then 0.75 is my answer for this. But now I need to see where we round off at. So the rounding off is going to be right here at the tenths place. So I round off to the tenths place and I check to see if it's 5 or higher, which it is 5 or higher. So my final answer is 85.8. Okay, so to do this easily, you really kind of have to line them up so that you know what's going on. So let's take a look at another one. Let's try number 3. Let's do one that's a little bit more difficult. 3 and 4, very similar to 1 and 2. So let's do one that looks a little bit different, like number 7. So number 7 here, let me get this, there we go. So number 7 is 45.6 minus 22. Oops, see, I don't have them lined up. There we go. Nice part about the smart boards. 1, 2, and then I'm gonna add, well, maybe we could do this in parts and just do the stuff here like this first. I'm going to round off. I'm going to subtract 2, 3, 5. Oop, that's a 4. 4 like that, so that I get 10 there, so 4, 8. So there's my answer to that when I subtract the 2. Now I'm going to add 11. Now notice that when I add 11, I get 34.48. And notice that my least accurate or my lower number of decimals is the ones place. So I'm going to round off at the ones place here. I'm going to check to see if 4 is 5 or higher, and it's not. So my answer should just be 34 for number 7. Okay? So there we go. Come on back up. There we go. So for number 7, 34 is my answer. So that's how you round off with addition and subtraction. Let's take another look at multiplying and dividing. This one's actually a little bit easier. It's actually a lot easier. So for multiplying and dividing, here's the difference. The difference is when multiplying and dividing, measurements, round your answer to the lowest number of significant figures given. That means we count them, just like we did in the last assignment, in assignment 1.5. So if I'm looking at number 9, I count 3 significant figures there because each one of these is non-zero and they count. And then 1, 2, so I have 2 here, so I'm going to round off my answer to 2 places. Okay, so my unrounded answer, hang on, I need to grab my calculator. My unrounded answer for this is 5.87 times 2.1. That equals 12.327. And then I count 1 and 2, and I check to see if that's 5 or higher. And if it's not, then I round off to a 12. And that's it. That's how you do it. It's very simple. So for here, for number 10, I have a 1 for significant figures there and a 2 there. So I'm going to round off to the 1. So 4 times 78 equals 312. Now 312 is my unrounded answer. And I'm rounding off to 1 significant figure. That means I count here at the 3, I check to see if that's 5 or higher, and it's not, and then I just fill zeros in, so 300. So for number 10, my answer is not 3, but 300. You have to put the placeholder zeros in. Let's take a look at number 12 now, number 11. So here again, we have 1 significant figure, so that's what I'm going to round off to. I have 3 significant figures for that one, so rounding off to 1. So 0.0235 times 9 equals, unrounded answer is 0.2115, and when I round off to 1 place, all I end up with then is 0.2, and the rest of them go away. Okay. Division works exactly the same way. 589 divided by 12 for number 13. Here I have 2 significant figures, here I have 3 significant figures. I'm rounding off the 2 significant figures. My answer is 12, and that's my unrounded answer, and because that's already 2 significant figures, then I can just leave it go like that. Oops, I didn't hit equals. Let's try that one more time. My unrounded answer is 49.083333, and so on. So if I'm rounding off to 2 places, I round off to 4 and then 9, and I check the 0 to see if it's 5 or higher, and it's not. Okay? Now, when we do operations where there's more than one type of operation, like subtraction and addition and the parentheses, or multiplication and division. So finally, in scientific notation, only the base number counts as an exponent, not the exponent or the 10. So we use PEMDAS, right? So we use PEMDAS. PEMDAS is parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. So that's the order that we do this in. So I'm going to use parentheses. There should be a parentheses there. So for number 17, the first thing I do for 17 is I subtract the 2 because they're in parentheses, and that's the P for PEMDAS. So I do parentheses first. Parentheses first looks like 22.1 minus 10, like that, and I get 12.1. They both go to the ones place, or the tenths place, so my 12.1 is rounded off correctly, and then I divide by 2. 2, here I have 3 significant figures, and here I have only 1 significant figure. So that means, where am I at here? 12 divided by 2 equals 6.05, but because I'm rounding off to 1 significant figure, I check to see if that's 5 or higher. It's not. My answer is 6. Okay, so follow PEMDAS. Do the subtraction first because it's within the parentheses, and then do the division. And each time you do it, you check to see how many significant figures you have. Okay, there should be another parentheses there also. I'm not sure why the parentheses didn't come out. So make sure you make those changes there. Okay, that's it for this part. I'll see you for the back.